Hello everyone, Mr. Dark here. Please fasten your seatbelts and put on your headphones, because today we have not one, but 3 stories for you. All 3 stories are alarming and will definitely blow your mind. They all came from Reddit. Reddit is a social news website and forum where content is created and promoted by users through voting. The site name is a play on the words, I read it. There are over 1.6 billion monthly active users from all over the world. But it also has its dark side. Here are the 3 most disturbing users on Reddit ever recorded. The first user's name is Galpticose, who was very depressed and took his own life as well as the lives of his family. Then second user, whose name is CarlH, first shows how helpful he was to everyone and teaches how to do programming for free. Then he was caught for participating in distributing illicit images of an underage child by the FBI. Then he took his own life in jail. The third story is about Jason. His wife cheated on him, and when he asked for a divorce and to take the custody of the children. His wife Brandy stabbed herself and killed the children, and from that day, Jason's life was completely changed. So Mr. Dark will tell you the first story about Galpticose. Nowadays, people often hide their true selves on the internet and create fake personalities to gain fame. And Galpticose's story is no different. He started his Reddit account on September 2nd, 2017. If you look at his account, you can see that he loved gaming and funny memes. And he seemed to be a little bit depressed. He spent a lot of time on Reddit, commenting on subreddits and memes, especially on Fortnite. He was doing what a normal Reddit user does. So you might be wondering why he is in this video. Over the 2 years his account was active, he slowly showed signs of depression. If we look at Galpticose's posts, we can see that he continuously talked about his depression, and many people, especially students, could relate to his posts. He explained that he had been suffering from depression since high school. In one post, he mentioned that getting A's was super easy for him. But once he got into high school, he became depressed. He could ace quizzes and tests, but his overall grades were B's because he didn't turn in his assignments, labs, or other work. Over the next 500 posts, it became increasingly clear that he was suffering from depression. Once in a post, he said that he wished his parents were more strict because he felt like a waste. He believed that if his parents had been strict, he would have focused on something productive. Instead, he saw himself as useless and sometimes wished he had never been born. Then he suddenly vanished from Reddit. He continued to comment on random posts, but behind the scenes, he was very depressed and genuinely needed therapy or help. Unfortunately, he didn't get any, and something worse was brewing in his mind. He started posting about self-hate again. Galpticose's real name was Farhan Tawhid. He was a 19-year-old boy living in Texas, and he was close to his brother, Tanvir Tawhid, who was also deeply depressed. Farhan didn't get the best grades in school, but managed to get into university. After a year, he dropped out, moved back to Texas, and lived with his family. Farhan was not very active. He was quite lazy and spent most of his day playing games like Fortnite and Portal. Farhan struggled with depression and only spoke to one fan about his mental health. But this fan couldn't help him much. Farhan and his brother created a 3D graphic engine, which was an achievement. But he didn't re-enroll in university. Instead, he started watching the show The Office, which he loved. When the show ended, Farhan felt like his life had ended too. Farhan and his brother discussed their depression and realized they both felt the same. They made an agreement. If their depression wasn't cured within a year, they would kill their entire family and then each other. However, this timeline was soon shortened to just a month. When nothing improved within that month, they decided to end everything. They bought a gun for the final day. On April 5th, 2021, authorities were alerted because Farhan posted a long note on his Instagram account. The note began, "Hey everyone, I killed myself and my family," followed by a detailed account of his life and struggles. In the suicide note, Farhan included statements like, "If I'm gonna die, I might as well get some attention." He shared his struggles and mental challenges, and even included sections about the office and GitHub. In the GitHub section, the name Galpticose was written in the file names. He wrote that he killed to prevent further sadness. A friend of Farhan's fan called the cops, but it was too late. When the cops entered the house, they found bodies and blood everywhere. Farhan and his brother had killed everyone and then each other. That's how the tragedy unfolded. Now, Mr. Dark will let you know about the second story. The account CarlH was created on Reddit on November 9th, 2006, less than a year after its release. During the first couple of years, he was barely known on Reddit. He was a typical user on Reddit, like he used to post on religious and political topics. He posted on this topic for over 3 years, but in September 2009, CarlH came up with a fabulous idea that brought him fame on Reddit. He posted on Reddit that he wanted to help people, so he started offering a free programming course where he would share his 15 years of programming skills for free. He explained that he was just being nice and he loves to help other people. He had some spare time, so he wanted to utilize it for helping other people. He will train people in programming from beginners to experts and will not take a penny from them. Soon his post got thousands and thousands of likes, and his inbox got blown up with programming requests. But he didn't want to help only a group of people, he wanted to help everyone. So he started posting about programming, taking classes online on Skype, and he also created a YouTube account where he posts about programming knowledge, so a few months later, now he had over 8,000 followers on Reddit. Then he opened a website named Computer Science for everyone.com to teach programming skills. After 2 years, CarlH gained over 20,000 followers on Reddit, and his YouTube channel had over 30,000 subscribers. The Reddit community loved him so much that he got a notable prize Redditor of the Day on the 26th of July 2012. But in the middle of November 2013, he suddenly vanished both on Reddit and YouTube. His followers felt that something was off, so after a week, his fans assumed that he was on a break or too busy with something, and some followers also suggested that maybe he was not well. After some weeks, one Reddit user found something interesting. He found an article about an individual named Carl Philip Harold, the father of a 9-year-old. This person was a father and left to take care of his boy, and Carl and his son live with his romantic partner Charles. But Carl's son wasn't getting much of his life. This lengthy article claimed an FBI investigation that Carl and Charles were arrested for the crime of participating in distributing illicit images of underage children. And it was found that Carl was not taking care of his child properly. He was put in the basement for 8 months. He didn't go to school or doctor for 8 months. On the other hand, Carl and his partner were doing abuse of the underage children and distributing the content online. And FBI found the adult content images posted online, and this led to the full investigation and led their arrest. Firstly, CarlH followers thought it was unlikely that this was the same CarlH, because this beneficial person who helped thousands of people could not do this kind of stuff. It didn't seem likely that they both were connected, but because it was on Reddit, some people are curious if this was the same person. In the earlier posts of the CarlH, it was found out that he had been talking about Christianity, and he also talks about gay marriage. And in Christianity, homosexuality was a sin. These are the sorts of controversial views, and he was happy to argue with anyone who didn't agree with him. This activity is directly connected to the person in that article. This made them believe in his followers. CarlH revealed his name, Carl Harold. Then he also showed his story about his son. He said, "I am making a schedule to put my son through school at home. I believe I can give him all the educational enlightenment he needs." As soon as this was pointed out, reality settled down. CarlH was a kitty toucher. People got horrified about the man they were following. Both the men were involved. Carl was facing 18 accounts of charges, including under 12 people, as well as aggravated child harm, to name a few. When Carl got arrested, he appointed his own defense lawyer. The first session of the court was on November 21st, but on that morning, Carl had taken his own life and his partner had been sentenced for 56 years. Both news media and Reddit showed hate towards them. Now, Mr. Dark will tell you the last story about Jasoninhell. He posted a detailed account on Reddit about his wife cheating on him with their neighbor. Jason was having a good life with his wife, Brandy, and their 2 children. No one could imagine that things would turn out so badly. It all started in May 2015, when Jason was extremely busy with a new project at work, often working long hours. One day, when he came home, he noticed that Brandy had put a password on her phone. She had never done this before, and Jason found it unusual and shocking. When he confronted her, she panicked. Brandy explained that she was planning a surprise for Father's Day and didn't want him to see and ruin it. Eventually, she revealed the surprise. However, after Father's Day, she didn't remove the password from her phone. Over the following weeks, Jason often saw Brandy smiling at her phone. If he asked who she was talking to, she would quickly put her phone aside and mumble something. This behavior continued, making Jason increasingly anxious. One day, while Brandy was taking a bath, Jason checked her phone before the screen turned off. He found a suggestive message sent to their neighbor which read, "I'm all covered in frosting. You want to lick it off?" Jason didn't overreact, thinking it might be a bad joke, as it was the only such message he found. Despite this, Jason's suspicion grew. He noticed that Brandy was frequently at the neighbor's house while he was busy at work. Acting on intuition, Jason started tracking Brandy's GPS location and discovered gaps in her whereabouts. Without solid evidence, he didn't confront Brandy directly. Instead, he told her he needed to install a VPN on her phone. Under this pretext, he installed a GPS tracker and AT&T message backup, allowing him to remotely access all her messages and locations. Brandy was under the impression that Jason was none the wiser. Soon, Brandy took the kids to Jason's mom's house, and Jason was watching all the activity on his phone. Years later, Brandy sent another picture to the neighbor, claiming it was meant for him but mistakenly sent to the wrong person. Jason was very depressed and posted on Reddit about his situation, expressing his struggles with depression, financial pressure, and a fake marriage. He received many comments, some harsh, some comforting, and some offering advice. In the end, the consensus was clear. He needed to get out of the relationship. Taking the advice to heart, Jason got a lawyer and began preparing for a divorce. He arranged to meet with the lawyer the following week to finalize the details and secure a better future for himself and the kids. This seemed like it would be the end of the story, but a tragic incident occurred soon after. Just a day after filing for divorce, Brandy made a call to 911 at 4:45 a.m. The content of that call was shocking and enough to blow anyone's mind.
Montgomery County 911, where's your emergency?
203 South Madison Street.
In what town?
Darlington.
Hey, what's going on there?
I just stabbed myself and I killed my 2 children.
You stabbed yourself and killed your 2 children?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what's your name?
Brandy Worley.
Brandy what?
Worley.
Okay. How do you spell your last name?
Worley.
And where are the children at?
In my daughter's room on the floor.
In your daughter's room on the floor? Okay. And what caused you to do this today?
My husband wanted to divorce and wanted to take my kid. I won't let him have my kid.
Okay, and how old are your children?
7 and 3.
10 and 3?
7.
7 and 3?
Mm-hmm.
Where did you stab yourself at?
In the neck.
Okay, are you bleeding?
Yeah, there's blood everywhere.
Okay, and where are you at?
In my living room.
You're in their living room?
Mm-hmm.
Are you armed now with the knife still?
No, it's in my children's room.
Hello? Okay, where's your husband at?
Downstairs somewhere.
Okay, what's his condition?
I don't know. I haven't talked to him.
And when you say downstairs, is he in a basement or?
Yeah.
Okay, what's his name?
Jason.
His what?
Jason.
Nathan?
Jason.
Jason?
In the 911 call, Brandy can be heard confessing to taking the lives of her children. She explained that she was afraid Jason would gain custody, so she took this drastic action. Before calling 911, she first called her mother, but by the time her mother arrived, it was too late. The grandmother rushed to the children's room and began screaming. The noise woke Jason, who had been sleeping in the basement. He was confused and disoriented until the police informed him of the horrific events. Brandy had stabbed the children multiple times and then turned the knife on herself, although she survived. She was sentenced to 55 years for the murder of her son and 65 years for the murder of her daughter. A few days later, Jason returned to Reddit to share the devastating news. He expressed that his life had taken a drastic turn and lamented that he felt he had failed as a father to protect his children.